Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. So in this episode today, I'm going to be talking about a few sites that I currently write stories on, and this is all outside of Wattpad, so I'm not going to talk about Wattpad in this episode. But some of these sites you can make money with your writing. Other sites you can't, but I like to say and think that any type of exposure can be good for you, especially if you're just starting out. So try to focus on building your audience first before thinking anything along the lines of how can I get paid for this, how can I make money, blah 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 blah, because without an audience there's not going to be anybody there to buy buy your stuff. So let's go ahead and jump into the episode. Now, first things first, unless you're just great at multitasking and you can work on more than one story at a time, I'll suggest sticking to just one site when it comes to uploading your story or your stories online, at least at the beginning of your writing journey. And then once you do finish your first book, you can slowly start to venture out to other places. I feel like for newbies or new writers, someone this is literally your first time writing a story and uploading it online, for people like that, it'll be a little easier this way to start out with a completed work, because like I said in an earlier episode, your future audience, your future readers, they're going to prefer and will enjoy you being consistent with your uploads. So if you're starting out with a completed book that you post a new chapter, or however many times you'll be able to post a new chapter however many times a week because the story is completed, then you'll eventually gain a following and credibility for being fast with your uploads, because they don't have to know that the book is completed. They just see that you're uploading twice a week and you're good at what you do, versus being that one author who only updates their stories once or twice a month. I'm not throwing shade at anybody, because I've been in both places where I was able to upload a lot, and sometimes I took a little bit of a hiatus for whatever reason. So I'm not throwing shade, just using this as an example. So yeah, make sure you have at least one book completed before you go out onto sites X, Y, and Z. Because what you don't want to do is start writing and uploading your first book, let's say on Wattpad, and then you sign up on 2 other sites in that same day. Now every time you upload on Wattpad, you got to upload everywhere else. Now your schoolwork is piling up, or whatever, real life is getting to you. Now you have to take a break. Now your friends on Wattpad and everywhere else is asking what's going on, and now you're getting stressed out, feeling pressured from all angles to keep up with the demands of your fans and blah 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 blah. Don't be that person. So just start off slow, start off on one website, finish your book. Once it's complete, then you can upload it in a serialized manner somewhere else. Work smarter, not harder. Now, getting back on track, let's say you finally finish your first story on Wattpad and you're ready to branch out and see what else is out there for you. Well, I have a few suggestions for you, some websites that I still use to this day, and they're in no particular order, so what I'm going to say first isn't better than what I'll say last. So let's go ahead and get started, for real. So recommendation number 1 is going to be Radish, and I've already talked about this, so I'm not going to go too much in on Radish with this episode, because I already went over it in detail in episode 4, which is titled Use This App to Make Money. So if you need a refresher, you can go back to that episode. Now, Radish is the only site, I guess you could say, on my list where you actually have to apply, so submit an application to become a writer with them, because you can't just go to their website and click create an account like you can do for Wattpad and everywhere else that I'm going to mention. So what I'll do with the rest of these recommendations, I'm going to give a quick little breakdown of my overall thoughts on the site, as well as give you some pros and cons for each one, so you'll kind of know what to expect before you get there. So for my overall thoughts on Radish, you can go back and listen to that on episode 4. Now, moving on to some pros and cons, we're going to first start out with some pros. 1, if your application gets approved and they approve you to start writing on their platform, one of the biggest pro is going to be that with Radish, you can monetize your stories. You have the control over which stories you want to be free, which stories you want to lock behind a paywall and have people have people pay for, things of that sort. All of that you're in control of. And I don't know what to call it. I guess the writer's dashboard is what you can call it. But where you go to actually create your story, it's very simple and easy to use. It's not overwhelming. Kind of like so if you're used to the Wattpad format, it's kind of like that. It's a little bit more simplified. So if you're a first timer on Radish, you won't find it difficult to create a story or manage your stories. And actually, another pro, when you go to preview your story before you publish it, you can see what it will look like on a tablet as well as a cell phone.